If you're tuning in right now, you happen to be watching the world's truest source for hip hop news, black culture, sports, and of course the best reaction videos on the net. I'm talking about Kofi's Universe. If you haven't already subscribed, it's your chance to hit that button now before I hit this blunt. Bada.
YouTube, salute. King Kofi is back once again, and I have a special guest. This rapper MC right here resides out of Connecticut. He's a part of
Yes, sir.
Demigods, part of AOTP, Army of the Pharaohs. So many
Yes,
people
sir.
love his music on my channel, so I had to actually get him on my platform. But before I even say his name, shout out to Self-Titled for making this connection right here. So I
Yeah.
got to give
Peace to self.
peace of self. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, friends and enemies, Blacastan.
Peace, man.
First question, or not even a question, how's everything with you in general?
I mean, man, everything is great right now, man. Despite the current situations of the world right now, I can't complain, man. Everything is everything. I'm in decent health, you know what I mean? I got all the basic necessities of life, transportation, shelter, and as an artist, I have all the tools necessary to create art and all of that. So yeah, man, I'm alive. I'm here. I got all my faculties with me. You know what I mean? Life is all right.
That's right. That's all I want to hear. Good, good, good. Shout out to all the subscribers and the people that's supporting around the world that's on my channel, on my platform. We're talking about, of course, we have the United States, we have Canada, we have the UK, we have Russia, we have Germany, we have Nigeria, Ghana,
Yeah,
South
yeah,
Africa,
dope.
Kenya, Colombia, Brazil, Cuba. We also
It's
have
crazy.
Barbados, Belize, Costa Rica,
It's
South
crazy.
Korea, the Philippines. The list goes on and on, but I want to give shout out to everybody. Just wanted to let you know, thank you, who's tuning in right now for this interview. When the interview is premiered for everybody, just want to say big ups to everybody. Um, One of the first questions I want to ask you will be this: can you tell us a little about Hartford, Connecticut?
Yeah, Hartford, Connecticut. It happens to be the capital of Connecticut. It's a small town kind of vibe to it. Because Connecticut on a whole isn't really a very large state. We're right in between New York and Boston, so when we hear tri-state, we think of Connecticut, New York, New Jersey. You know what I mean? We're just like any other place. We have our ghettos, our hoods, and we have our affluent areas too. And the wild thing about Connecticut is that even though this is a very small state, a lot of the wealth in the country resides right here in this state. You know what I mean? A lot of famous people own homes here. There's a lot of wealth here, and where there's a lot of wealth, there's usually a tremendous level of poverty too, because one can't really exist without the other. And as far as hip hop goes and that sort of stuff, we were always caught in between Boston and New York. So we were little brothers in a sense to both of those places. And both of those places being like major metropolises, we kind of fell in between there. So we got a little bit of attitude. A little bit of us comes from both of those places. That's what I would say. And we do have our own identity, man. But it's kind of like I'll reference Griselda. Like how Griselda, they're in the upper part of New York, so they're away from all the boroughs and all that. And there's famous people that came from there sparingly, but they didn't get their big breakthrough hip hop wise until Griselda.
Mhm.
So it's a similar thing where, like, they're from New York, and New York is the mecca, but where they're at, you know, they're overlooked because of location. And it's kind of same thing talent wise with Connecticut and stuff. I hope I didn't get too crazy, but Hartford, you know, there's a huge West Indian population here, you know, Jamaicans, and it's mixed up. It's just like any other you know, major area with crime ghettos, you know, and all of that stuff. So I hope I didn't get all too crazy off of the subject.
No, that was good. Thank you. I mean, you actually educated me, and that was a great comparison.
It's a constitution state too. So I guess the Constitution, what was like signed here or something doing significantly with the Constitution took place here. So we know that a lot of the history of the country was in the Philadelphia area with the founding fathers and all that. But Connecticut, I believe, we are the Constitution state. So I'm not sure if the Constitution was drafted here or if it was amended here or if it was passed here, but we are the Constitution state. So I mean, not like that really matters to someone like me, but it's one of those things that, you know, we're known for here. And matter of fact, on our license plates, I know a long time ago when I was growing up, it said that, you know, the Constitution state. So yeah, that's one of the things we're here. And yeah, you know, Skull and Bones is here. You know, with Yale Yale College.
Yes.
It's one of the premier Ivy League schools in the nation. You know, Harvard is in this area. They're in the Boston area, but Yale is the home of Skull and Bones. So there's some deep history here, you know, some esoteric history, you know, some real stuff is here, you know.
Thank you. I love that. I love being educated. I love the knowledge you're dropping for me and everybody else. Thank you so much. Since we're speaking about the Constitution, the Skull and Bones, and the Ivy League schools, I kind of want to jump into this question right here.
Yeah, I'm with
your perspective about the Capitol Hill insurrection.
Yo, it is really a confusing thing. It's like it's an unfamiliar thing, but it's a very familiar thing. Because you know, those people, you know, I don't even want to come across that, but those people that are in support of that that viewpoint, they've always been here. You know, that thought is a very old thought. You know, that mission, that thing that they're fighting for is a very old thing that they're fighting for. You know, this country was founded on racism and capitalism and all the bad isms, you know, all of these old ideologies are what those people are fighting for, you know, and they're resisting change, you know, they're resisting for America and for the world to be different, and they're fighting. They're fighting against that. You know, some people try to trivialize it and they try to come across and say, yo, Donald Trump is good for us because he's going to financially help the country, you know, and things like that. And he's going to help us keep taxes down. He's going to keep the cost of oil down. So they're using those capitalist kind of things to defend all of the other hatred and all of the other bad things that he stands for. You know, yes, I want to be in a financially good place. Yes, I want cheaper oil and heating fuel. Yes, you know, I want taxes to be good. Yes, I want the economy to thrive, but not at the detriment of being behind, you know, or being under the rule of a racist dictator. You know, I'm not willing to pay that price for that benefit. You know, it's like make America great again. You know, it depends on who you're talking to. You know, for the African American in America, for the African, for the you know, the original blacks that have been here, for all the minorities, America has never been a great place. You know, people come here and, you know, they're here for the land of opportunity and freedom, but we, the black people, have never known America to be somewhere that we've been free in. You know, we've never known this as a great place. I mean, historically, if you're looking at it, we got dealt, you know, excuse me, I don't even know. I don't want the algorithm to get you, but we've been dealt the doodoo card from the beginning, you know, from the time we arrived here, you know. So make America great again. Just even saying that is like, you know, it's like a spit in the face of the, you know, the Black Americans, the African Americans, the foundational Black Americans and all that. So without getting too crazy, man, we got to be careful, man. And we got to look at that and understand, yo, inside that insurrection, there was people, you know, that are openly Klan men, you know, Klan members that was there. You know, they're Confederate flag people. We got to see what that is, man. That's not just merely Americans just fighting for their right. There's the rights. There's a lot of other underlying stuff going in there. And it's scary when the guy who's in control of everything or who's been appointed to run all this stuff, when he's the one that's rallying those people. That's the, you know, so that's very serious, you know, and I'm going to say this and then I'm done with this. So we got to look at it and say, wow, you know, the roots of those people go very deep. You know, the roots of those people are in law enforcement. Law enforcement in this country was created out of some racist stuff to begin with. You know what I mean? They was created to round up slaves and stuff like that. So law enforcement is never... Exactly. Officer, overseer. You get overseer from officer, right? KRS said it.
Yes.
It's like, we gotta realize, man, that when you're talking to a Black person or a minority or a person of color or whatever, and I'm not trying to make it a race thing, we have different views of what America is. Someone might see a police officer and they might see a hero, you know, but then you ask another person, when they see that figure, what do they see? And they see two very different things. When someone hears of "Let's make America great again," you know what I mean? That might mean something completely different than what it means to someone else. And that ascension or dissension on the Capitol, whew, that was deep, man. You know, there was a lot of underlying stuff going on. Like law enforcement allowed that to happen.
Mm-hmm.
The Donald Trump called that and he rallied those guys up. Law enforcement fell back. Police were murdered. Other people were murdered, you know, and people are getting misdemeanors and stuff. You know what I mean? Black lives matter. They get together and it's bombs and tear gas. You know what I mean? It's different, you know? So I'm gonna say that and I'm gonna shut up.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry, man.
No. I love it. You listen, this platform is for you to speak. For everybody that comes on here, please speak. I just want to add on, if anybody's probably misinformed of what's going on or probably still need more information, please check out 13th Amendment on Netflix. You can check that out. You can look at you can also read The New Jim Crow by Michelle Alexander, and you can also check out Nate Parker's new film, American Skin. Check that out.
Okay. All right. And so I just want to say, these are my views. These are my views. This is how I see things. You know, this is not representative of Demigods. This is not representative of Army of the Pharaohs. This is just my personal opinion and how I see things. And, you know, I don't want that to reflect on anybody because, you know, I love my brothers, whether they see it like this, they don't see it like that. I can still love you. Yeah. And I can still understand you, you know, if you stand at you know, I can agree to disagree with anyone. Mm-hmm. And it's just, you know, especially in discussion and talks, You know, I don't have to hate you. You know what I mean? I don't want to have to fight you. You know, it doesn't even have to be that deep. You know, I don't want to see people get killed, whether they believe in make America great again or they believe on my side, you know, or whatever. You know, it's not that deep for me. You know, that the what I want to see is I want to see us really be able to get it together and to function together and to all be treated right. You know what I'm saying? That's what I want to see. You know?
Yes, shout out to all the subs and everybody else that's out there that's probably watching this interview. Like I said, we can agree to disagree, and at the end of the day, it's all about respecting the next person's perspective, because everybody walk of life is different. So you can't always say, no, that's not right, or you know, because everybody walk of life is different, especially speaking for me as a Black man living in North America. My viewpoint is going to always be different. You might look at me, a person like me might say, oh, you got a bachelor's degree in Africana studies, a master's degree in religion, you've been to the Navy, but that doesn't make me the rule. I might be an exception, but I'm still not ruled out to be racial profile, which I've been racial profile. I actually went to trial because the police officer lied on me, saying that I was selling drugs. Like I wasn't selling drugs.
See, and see, another thing is, man, you see, that's what we're dealing with when we're dealing with with prejudice and we're dealing with racism and we're dealing with all of that stuff. All that you're seeing is my skin color. You know what I mean? So no, a lot of times people are not even making it past my exterior. You know what I mean? And I mean, you know, some of it is human nature. You know, we look at people and we form opinions, and you know, there's different. I might look at someone and they're dressed a certain way, and I'll be like, you know, look at that hipster, you know, or you know, if somebody's dressed, you know, with torn up clothes, you might say, look at that bum, you know. So it's like, yes, you know, this is how we form our opinions of people by what we see. But it's deep when you're dealing with systematic racism, man. It's very, very, very deep. It's like, it's so deep that sometimes when you try to explain systematic racism, you know, some of the people on the other side, they can't even grasp or understand, like, you're bugging. No, that's not true. Or, yo, they can't even grasp it if they've never walked in your flesh or walked in your skin or been a Black person. You know, all the subtle nuances of racism, you know, all the subtle things, you know, where the energy changes when a Black man comes in a room or whatever. There's even colorism amongst Black people. You know, and so me, you know, I'm on the darker end of the spectrum, you know, so, you know, I feel a lot of things, man, you know, and maybe I've been jaded by a lot of things, you know, in life, you know, so maybe I've been damaged in certain ways, you know, societally, you know what I mean? Maybe I carry baggage from a lot of that stuff, you know. Damn, I'm in like a therapy session with you right now. So it's like, you think about, like, when you look at magazine covers, you know, the image of beauty, you know, this thing is deep, man, systematic racism, you know, and how it's been indoctrinated and all of that. So you think about it, you look at Kylie Jenner, you look at Kim Kardashian, you look at people who are deemed to be beautiful. You look at even hip hop and rap videos, the hip hop vixens, you know, and you look at how people adore lighter complexion, straighter hair, you know, how superficial the world can be, you know, and all of these things play back into it, man. It's like, it's all encompassing, man, you know. Everything from branding to the things we wear, you know, it's deep, dog.
Beautiful. Deep. Everything you're saying is touching and emotional, but I know where you're coming from. We appreciate this. Now I got a good question to lighten up the mood before, you know, because, you know, tell us about your name and what made you start rapping.
So what made me start rapping is actually like this is deep. I don't think anybody ever really specifically asked me that, um my mom's is from Jamaica, and my dad is from Nigeria.
Mm.
And so culturally those are two very different places, and I think it's always been in me, music and all these things. And, I had an uncle, that used to listen to a lot of dance hall stuff. And I can remember being as young as probably 4 or 5 years old, trying to do dance hall music, just to entertain my uncle because he thought it was funny. So I would repeat dancehall songs to him, with a Jamaican accent on it. And they, they thought it was dope. So they would just be like, they would call me in the room and have me, bust out some of that stuff. And I knew I had a spark, I loved music, my grandmother was like a big Stevie Wonder fan. She was a fan of like Disney musicals like The Sound of Music and Mary Poppins and just real diverse stuff like that. Lionel Richie, Dionne Warwick, stuff like that. And my mom used to listen to, early dancehall stuff in the house and Bob Marley, obviously, and, and a lot of stuff like that. And it was always around. And my mom always encouraged us to, to listen to music and stuff like that and to draw, and she was very supportive of art, period, for me. And I remember, at one point she got us a boom box, like that's the cliche hip hop story. Like your mom bought you a boom box and, that sort of thing. But she bought us a box and it was a little one. It was like a mint green color one, it wasn't like a ghetto blaster or nothing. And it had a tape deck, and some of the first cassettes we got was like the Beastie Boys License to L, LL Cool J, I'm Bad, my older cousin, would get albums on cassette and dub them for me. He gave me Public Enemy cassettes. My other cousin, Andre, introduced me to like Pete Rock and Gangstar, and I started to listen to this music, Big Daddy Kane. And I was hypnotized, man. I was mesmerized. Like I would listen to these songs and NWA and Eazy-E, like stuff we wasn't supposed to listen to as little kids. And I remember one time, how you're a kid and you do fundraisers for school and you sell candy and then you're supposed to take the money and we took the money from that and we bought like the DOC, No One Does It Better. And me and my older brother, we bought cassettes and we messed up the money for the candy fundraiser thing. My mom found out, she had to pay for it. Then she was like, what did you spend this money on? She found the cassettes. She listened and found out that it was all this profanity. And she got mad and broke the cassettes up. And, this made us want to listen to this stuff even more. And it was dope, man. It was like it grabbed you, man. Hip hop back then, man, it was like it just really grabbed you. It was like the beats, what they were saying. I was so young, I didn't really completely understand everything that was being talked about in the music. And as I got older, I started to embody it. Like I started to know what they were talking about, So by the time Wu-Tang came around, I was of age enough to be like, to really fall in love with it. And to say, they're talking about, yo, God, peace, God, yo, Shamik just got bucked in the head, and just reciting and remembering every little thing in the records. And, it was dope. And by that time, I really wanted to rhyme, and before that, we had played around in talent shows and stuff like that. But by the time I was a teenager, I had already met up with the dudes in the neighborhood that felt the same way. We would record pause tapes and, we would rhyme. in my man JD's crib, you know, recorded on cassettes and just listen to it. Never thinking ever that anybody would ever hear that, just stuff that we just did to ride around listening to. And yeah, man, that's it. So the golden era made me want to rhyme. The name Blacastan, it came about in the Capone and Noriega time, where, you know, they were naming everything after like places in the Middle East, you know, like Queensbridge was Kuwait, you know, Noriega was from Iraq, and you know, it had like that desert motif to it. And by that time I had got arrested, you know, so I was away, and I had a cellmate at that time, you know, we used to rap to pass time, and he started calling himself Lebanon, you know, and then my name was already Black, you know, so it was like, yo, you should Pakistan, you should call yourself Blacastan, like Pakistan. At first I thought it was corny, and I started to use it in rhymes, and then it stuck, and it was cool at that time because Capone and Noriega and stuff was doing that, and I just stuck with it, you know. And then after I started to give it meaning, you know, like there's 3 A's in it. Blacastan, the way I spell it, and one is for the mental, physical, and spiritual, you know. So afterwards I started to break it down like a black man taking a stand and all of this other stuff. So yeah, man, that's it, man. I'm babbling, man.
Woo! I love this right here,
man. Yo, I'm wilding. I like to talk, man.
No, I love it. You're gonna make me want to keep watching this interview over and over as a fan. Not as
no doubt.
A person that's interviewing you as a fan, because wow, I'm being. This is like, you know, watching a movie and eating popcorn. Like wow, all this, you know, information coming at me into the subs, and your fans out there. Your fans are gonna be actually happy to.
Yo, let me ask you something now. What's your involvement in the music now? Do you MC? Have you MC? Do you produce? What's your role in the culture? You know, obviously you're documenting this, you know, so you're playing a role as a journalist right now.
Well, I used to rap when I was in high school. My rap name was called Red Baron. That means recircling every degree, brave and rejecting outer negativity. I was a part of this group called Renaissance Men. My producer name was Dorado. So we would make songs. We was really like into the hip hop culture. Like, we didn't really talk about like shooting nobody or game. It was all about rhyming, MCing, keeping it just 100.
Things that we need.
Yeah. When I went to the Navy, I kind of just didn't want to, you know, do that no more. But I've always just been a hip hop historian. So, you know, me getting my channel off the ground right now, like, well, where I'm at right now, only been like a year and a half, too. It's like a blessing in disguise to have 15,000 plus subs and to get these interviews. And I just love music. I love, you know, just talking to people about, you know, our history when it comes to hip hop and the evolution of hip hop. So that's where I'm at right now when it comes to this.
No doubt, man. See, so it's close to you, you know. Yeah, man. So yeah, man. Man, you know, rap isn't one thing, you know, and rap doesn't always have to be a negative thing. You know what I mean? I think, you know, we us as a culture, we get caught up in the bravado and the things that we glorify as a society as a whole, even, you know, so like where you would have your most Debs and your Talibs, you know how they, like nowadays, the go-to thing is like, what do you listen to? You know what I mean? And so then when there's a couple answers in regards to hip hop. They either gonna say, you know, the cop out, the universals, I listen to a little bit of everything. You know what I mean? That's the cop out, right? Or, yo, I fucks with the Kendricks and the J.Coles. You know, so it's almost like anybody from the 90s or that's past a certain age, the expected answer is, yo, I mess with Kendrick and J.Cole. You know, so like that's the only alternative of anything, you know, thought-provoking in hip-hop nowadays. And I just think that, you know, like that's a sad kind of a sad reality, man. It's like, it's crazy. It's all this other stuff here, you know, but a lot of people never turn from the mainstream to even look any deeper. You know what I mean? You know,
That's
so
true. That's
it's
true.
crazy.
Because even the music I listen to this day, like, you know, the music I share with my friends, my wife, you know, she's up on certain underground rappers right now. I've always just been into underground because to me, I'm an underdog. And I've always felt that I have something to not just prove, but I feel like I'm going to make it because I want that pressure on me. I want to be able to say, give me the pressure. I don't want to be at the top. Then I feel like, oh my God, if I fall to the bottom, how do I get back to the top? I want to feel like once I reach the top, I can stay there, retain my title without falling.
Because you built it.
Correct.
You know, yeah.
Correct.
Nah, I got you.
There's one verse, there's a line from Conway the Machine. He says on this track called The Fear of God on his album that came out last year in 2020, when he says that the Griselda house, we built the foundation from the ground up. And when he said that, he talking about, like, you know, we didn't have no help. Like, we did this all ourselves. And when he said that, like, I know where he's coming from, because when people see certain people accomplishments and maybe like, oh my God, he or she has the house, they have a new car, they have whatever. To me, I think that's, you just looking at the finished product, but you don't see the ingredients.
Nah, I feel you. Yeah. Or somehow, if they see the finished product, they try to diminish it.
Yes.
You know, if they didn't see the word. No, I totally get you. You know, it's like, yo, you see the spaghetti and you see the whole thing with the garlic bread and everything, but you didn't see them boil the pasta. You know, you didn't see them, you know, process the tomatoes to make the sauce, you know? So it's like, yes, voila, here you go. Meatballs and spaghetti, but you didn't, you know, you can't even imagine the amount of love that the cook put into it.
Correct.
You know,
correct,
yeah,
correct.
or the blood, sweat, and tears that they, you know, did climbing the mountain. You know, I get you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
How did you meet Stu Bangers?
Yo, Stu Bangers is one of my closest friends. First of all, man, peace to Stu, and we met through, you know, like I'm trying to think of the best way to put this. Yo, the Pharaohs and the Demigods and the whole underground movement of, like, all the independent underground rappers and everything, it's like a fraternity. You know what I mean? And you really don't realize that until you get into it. You realize that the whole music thing is a fraternity, underground or mainstream. Because once you start meeting people, you realize all of these relationships are intertwined. And what I mean by that is, like, yo, if you know Vinny Paz, you know, then you're one person away from Immortal Technique.
Yes.
If you know Immortal Technique, then you're one person removed from Ill Bill. You know what I mean? Like, everything is there. If you know Blacastan, then you're one person removed from Stu Bangers. You're one person away from Apathy. Sometimes, you see what I mean? It's like a web of networking. So yes, Stu was affiliated with the Army of the Pharaohs. I was affiliated with the Army of the Pharaohs. Stu was in Boston. I'm in Connecticut. You know, so we were already in the same circle before we even met. But I met Stu one day at a jam that we had. I think I was on the bill, maybe Reef the Lost Causes. I can't remember, but Dope Nixon ended up in the building, you know, and he, you know, like a special surprise guest. And peace to Dope, that's one of my brothers. Him and Stu was having disagreements, you know, over some hip hop stuff about rhymes and beats behind the scenes. And I didn't know that, you know what I mean? I met Stu that night, and him and Dope Nixon was getting ready to go at it. I played the Peacemaker that night, and I was able to get them to, you know, to chill out and not go at each other. And from that moment on, that's when I met Stu, and I liked his energy, because he was standing up for his, and he was ready to go all out for whatever they were arguing about. I don't even remember. And everybody stood down. We was able to make it through peacefully without them killing each other. And me and Stu made a connection that night. So I think after that, we might have said, yo, what up, man? I love your raps. Yo, damn, son, I went back and checked out your beats. I love what you do with the beats. Oh, no doubt. Yo, we got to work sometime. And then we ended up working on something, and then maybe something else. And then before long, maybe a year or so after that, we kind of, I don't know, I think mutually we contacted each other about working on a whole project. So it was supposed to be me emceeing and Reef the Lost Cause emceeing and Stu doing beats and Vanderslice doing beats, and we were gonna all join together and do a project. So it started off with the four of us. Reef started working on some other stuff. Vanderslice was working on some other stuff, so they got pulled away from the project. Me and Stu was steadily working, so when we realized that, they had too much on their plate, they had to back out, me and Stu went all in. And so we completed what we had started with them, and that became Watson and Holmes 1. And so from there, that's kind of how we started building. Then it was Watson and Holmes 2, then it was Watson and Holmes 3, and in between, Stu had let out projects, which I was all involved with, and we really just really meshed as far as like his beats and, making beats specifically for me and, digging for samples and writing the rhymes, and it just went together well. So we once we started to work, we just continue to work, and we still continue to work today. So now, Stu Bangers and Blacastan are Watson and Holmes. That's what we go by.
Yeah, shout out to your new project too that came out last year.
Oh man, thank you.
Thank you. Can you tell your fans or the people that might be new to you about that project?
Yeah, man. The project that came out last year, that was Watson and Holmes, the case of the BPM killer. That was the third installment or the third group project with me and Stu. Yeah, and we let that out because it was time to get some new material out. And we kept it short and sweet, and we know that you got to feed the machine, you know what I mean? So you got to try to consistently keep some music flowing, and we really thought it was time to let that out. But it's just another adventure, man. Stu on the boards, me on the rhymes. We anybody that's familiar with Watson and Holmes, you know what it is, you know what I mean? I'm in there bobbing and weaving with the rhymes. He's in there pounding on the pads on the MP, and we coming out with that boom bap, man. And no matter what's going on in the soundscape of music, we keeping it boom bap. You know what I'm saying? Hard beats and rhymes, and we try to be creative and with the narratives and everything like that. And we working again, so hopefully we'll get something out by the end of the year again. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Peace to Stu.
Please let me know in advance a single, whatever, because I'll make sure I do a reaction for that on my channel, so your fans and you can get that buzz, those views, and everything else.
No doubt.
Oh yeah, most definitely. A good question will be for some of your, not just you, but just overall the AOTP and the Demigods fans. How did you join those groups?
Yo, it's almost like a similar thing to, how me and Stu connected. As far as the Demigods, I'm in Connecticut. Apathy is in Connecticut. Peace to App. And really what had happened was, I had started, bubbling and making my rounds in the Connecticut scene, and I started to develop a buzz. And Apathy keeps his ear to the streets here, so he's listening to whoever is coming around making noise, and whoever is on some real hip hop stuff, he's paying attention. Likewise as I am as well. So he got word back, you know. I had a record out called The Life of a Tape, where, you know, I personified myself as a cassette, you know, kind of like how Nas did on I Gave You Power. You know,
Oh,
he
wow.
took the form of a gun, and KRS did, and I'm a blunt being smoked and I can't wake up. I personified myself as a cassette in that particular joint, and people really responded to it well. Like they really liked that, and they thought I was you know, a dope display of MCing or whatever, and it opened up a lot of doors for me. So nevertheless, by that time I had started, you know, to develop a relationship with Brick Records, which is in Boston, and they were putting out a lot of the early underground stuff like Mr. Liff and 7L and Esoteric, you know, and stuff like that. I knew a dude from my town, Trees, who kind of managed me for a couple years, but he definitely helped me. I wouldn't even be where I'm at if it wasn't for Trees. And he was working at Brick, and he helped to, you know, get me my first independent licensing deal through them. So while all that was going on, I met App in the process, who was already in that circle again. You see how that works?
Mm-hmm.
Like he already had known, you know, Brick Records and 7L and, you know, and Esoteric and all these brothers and undergroundhiphop.com and all that. So around that time, I met Apathy. He was doing a radio show at Yukon radio station, and we hit it off. He invited me up to be a guest on his show. After that, I went to the show every week after that. So I ended up being like a guest, and then I just became a part of the show. And we really bonded, man. We probably did that for maybe 3 years, you know, before we even did a record together, or before we even discussed us doing music. So we had bonded over like the course of 3 years, and you know, we had done shows together, things like that, and it would just happen naturally. It's like, Black, you know, you already fam. Yo, would you really like to, you know, be officially a demigod? And I was like, yo, say no more. I already feel like I'm a demigod. So, you know, he ran it by the other brothers in the crew, and you know, everybody welcomed me, and it was like, yo, we'd love to have you as a part of the crew. And that's how the demigod situation worked. And a similar situation to how I met Vinny Paz, and you know, through Apathy, through Esoteric, through Karma over at Brick Records, you know. So it's just like, yo, this is my man Black, this is what he, you know. And this one thing led to another. It was all family already. It was like, it's like a fraternity. You know what I mean? So through the music, you know, we all in there. We pledged through the music, you know, through the love for the, you know, the music, man. And I know that probably sounds cheesy, but it's just, that's the common thread, you know, and respecting each other's crafts, and just us all being fans of each other. You know, and it's just dope, man. It's just, I couldn't believe it. You know what I mean? Because, you know, entering independent and underground, you're talking about Army of the Pharaohs, man. And you're talking about demigods. You're talking about master level craftsmen. You're talking about Vinny Paz. You're talking about Apathy. You're talking about Esoteric. You're talking about Self-Titled, Outer Space, Reef the Lost Cause, Zilla the Monster. Like, you know, Des Devious, you know, you talking about Comanche even was a part of that legacy. Reef the Lost Car. Yo, you talking about some of the hardest hitting brothers, you know, in underground hip hop and underground rap, you know, in indies. Like, so that's like the second coming of Wu, man. You know, in my opinion, you know what I mean? Not that we could ever touch the clan, but just in the essence of the, you know, all the different styles and all the different varieties, and you know, how seriously we take the craft. It's crazy. So I couldn't even believe that I was amongst the elite like that. You know, I still don't sometimes.
Shout out to all the members of Demigods and AOTP. Want to give a shout out and love to them. Now, since you are a part of those groups, and if you can compare yourself to a Marvel character, who would it be and why?
Yo, man, that's like that's a hard one. You know what I mean? It's a hard one. But I would say, I'm kind of low key. You know what I mean? I'm kind of low key. I would say I might be the beast. You know what I mean? Because he was strong but very intelligent. You know what I mean? And he wasn't like an upfront character. He was there. If you was a real fan, you would know he was there. But he wasn't like a Spider-Man or he wasn't a Wolverine, but he played his part and you knew he was there. You know what I mean? So the beast, that's what I would say, hanging upside down, reading a novel. You know what I mean? Something like that, man. Or Nightcrawler, you know what I mean? Something like that. Like a guy that is there and he's powerful, but he's not always in the forefront all the time. That's me.
Okay. Love it. All right. Since Tupac, Biggie Smalls were murdered, we've had so many rappers throughout his history that have been murdered, died through, violence. We're talking about, Big L. We can go through the 90s, we can go to the 2000s, but we can talk about recent Nipsey Hussle, Pop Smoke, King Von, etc. I want to hear your perspective about how do you feel about these rappers that's being targeted? Do you feel like it's sometimes they're speaking this into existence through their music, or is just sometimes wrong place, wrong time?
It's a combination of all of that. What's happening, we can't really specify it to a hip hop thing, because there's a much bigger issue of Black men being killed. There's a bigger, broader issue of Black men being murdered, Black lives not being valued. The genocide of the Black male is a very, very deep topic, and how the deaths of these individuals, how they're handled, how they're perceived, down to the investigations and just the lack of concern and the lack of value. These brothers are a little bit more celebrated in hip hop because we revere them as icons, But think about the Black men that are being brutally murdered away from hip hop. No one really speaks about them. Tupac and Biggie, it's heartbreaking, man. It's like, it's really like, my perspective on all of this stuff changed over the years. At one point, where my mind was at when certain things happened, I couldn't process it the way that I look at things now. I'm 40 years old, you know what I mean? So it's like I look and I view things completely different, man. And they died in their 20s, Pac and Biggie. You got to think about that, man. You got to really think about, they died in their 20s. And halfway through their 20s, the impact that they had on the world is great. Like you got to think about it, man. Like it was kind of dangerous, the influence that they wielded, man. You got to think about it. And you got to think about, look at Jay-Z, right? You got to think that, he came off of the Biggie tree.
Yeah.
You can't say that Jay-Z would even be where he's at without the influence of a Biggie. It's like if Big never was invented or Big was never born or Big was never a part of hip hop, maybe Jay-Z, you got to think of the influence and how those little sprinkles, like you ever watch The Butterfly Effect? and how everything kept starting over and stuff, and each little, or even Final Destination,
Yes.
how they show in these movies that one little thing, could change the path of how something else more serious happened, but it seems so insignificant. Like, I dropped the paperclip, it fell right here, it caused a spark inside of the extension cord. The extension cord hit the wick on the furnace, the house blew up. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So if I could go back, I wouldn't have hit that clip, but it's just crazy. It's like, all of those things were pieces in a puzzle, right? King Von. I'm more familiar with the name than I am the music, So like after he died, that's when I went back and I said, wow, like, I'm a little biased to new acts and to new hip hop and all of this stuff. But I went back and listened to one King Von joint where he was telling a continuous story. And sometimes I get lost in translation with like the trap beat. It might throw me off. That's not hip hop. Or the melody of how they rhyme what they're saying, that's not hip hop, and let that throw me off. But if I stop and I don't discriminate and I listen, King Von got a joint that I was like, wow. Storytelling narrative joint, talking about his hood, probably real events that really happened. And it's sad, man. He's a young man. He got children, all this crazy stuff. And then you think about how it affects his camp. And you think about the genocide was going on in Chicago. You think about like, these brothers is lost. They have no regard for human life, especially their own Black life. It's sad, man. It's like, in a weekend, 40, 50 people are getting shot and killed. It's crazy. And it's being perpetuated in the music. Where like somebody dies and then somebody posts a video of them mocking the dead guy. And, it's out of control, man. It's out of control. Nipsey Hussle, he was headed for greatness.
Mm-hmm.
Like you seen it in him. You seen it coming. Like, it's almost like when you look at Nipsey Hussle, you see the greatness before it even happens. Like, I love the joint that he did over the crisscross beat, like when he was first coming out. You remember that joint?
Yeah.
How he had the Crenshaw shirts and like, it was all dope. It was like, he reminded me of Snoop. It was like, but he wasn't trying to be like him. That's who he really was. And whew, that was a sad one, man. I ain't even gonna front, man. Like, that was sad, dog. Because you could see him becoming something great. And everything he stood for was like, he was trying to better his community. It's like, it's sad, man. It's messed up, and it also perpetuates all of the bad stereotypes that are connected to the Black male. Mm-hmm. And it does it right there in front of the media, right there in front of the whole world. Look at you Black people. You just keep killing each other. You make it out the hood, you make $1 million and you still hate yourself. You know what I mean? You making millions of dollars. All you doing is buying cars and gold chains and diamonds. Look at you. We took the chains off of you and let you go, and y'all still slaves. You got all the money in the world, you still a slave. And we taught y'all how to hate each other during slavery. And look at y'all. Y'all still killing each other. Y'all still subscribing to gang violence, even after you made it, even after you have the means to make things different. So damn, man, like I could talk about this all night. It's bad, it's really bad. And I don't want people to think I'm talking like I'm holy, and I don't want people to think like that, because I've been in trouble. I contributed to this. I'm not a perfect person, but when you sit back and you look at it, it's bad, man. It's like there's nothing good about it. East Coast, West Coast was perpetuated by the media. You know what I mean? Big and Pac started out as friends, dog. They started out as close friends. You know what I mean? It's crazy, man. It's just crazy, dog. You know, even when you just look at gang violence, I can't even talk about it anymore. Because I could go hours like just complaining about it. You know, I don't want to be that guy. I got to be cool. I can't get all emotional, but it's bad.
It's a touchy subject. It's a touchy subject.
Is.
Yeah. I just got a few questions for you.
I'm gonna keep it short and sweet. I ain't gonna.
No. You doing good. Trust me. I love you talking because it makes it easy for me. Trust me. It's all about you. It's all about you. This is your time for your fans out here to hear from you. They don't need to hear from me. They can listen to me on my reactions, but this is all about you. So I just want to let you know that.
It's sad, man. Think about Nipsey Hussle. Just think about that. Like, think about what he stood for. Like, you know, I watched a documentary. I think he put out a documentary with one of his albums, and he was in the hood, man. You know, he was buying up property in the hood, you know, starting businesses in the hood. Like, that's not a myth. Like, he was really doing that. Like, what else? You know, he was doing the right thing, man. You know, he was doing the right thing. And like, not him, you know what I'm saying? It's like, not him. Like, why him? You know, it's disturbing. It's crazy. Crazy.
You're right. I mean, sometimes you think the person's doing the right thing and you'd be like, why it had to happen to them?
Big L, Scott LaRock.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, yo, it's nuts, man. Nuts. Oh, and I'm going to say this and I'm going to shut up on this topic. I was watching like a random series the other day, me and my wife, and there was like some girls stranded on a desert island, like a group of girls. It was a crazy thing. I forget the name of it. This girl was stranded on a desert island reciting Notorious B.I.G. lyrics in this series. Somebody's going to know what I'm talking about. I forget the name of it. And I said, and I stopped and I thought, like, wow, look at the impact, dog. Like, look at the impact. Look at the impact. Like, out of the blue, she was reciting like the lyrics to Hypnotize or Juicy. And I was like, wow, this is crazy. It's crazy.
I definitely want to know the name of that movie. I want to check that out.
It's not a movie. It was a series. It was like,
okay.
Yeah, it was like one season. It was like 6 or 7 episodes. It's Netflix? Crazy. It was either Netflix or Amazon. I'm going to find out. Find out and I'm going to send it to you. I'm going to send you the name of it. I promise you. Just remind me before we out of here.
Okay, thank you. Top 10 rappers. Your top 10 rappers. I didn't say 5. I said 10, so you got a little wiggle room.
Damn, these are so hard, man. Damn, you know, I mean, obviously, you know, you got your Rushmores and all of that, and just out of homage and respect. Whew. Oh man, I hate when they do this to me, man. Because I hate the choose, you know what I mean? But wow. Now, can you put this in the context for me? Like,
the top 10 rappers that influence you. How about that?
All right. So, obviously, you got Slick Rick.
Okay.
You got Tragedy Gaddafi.
Okay.
You got Nas.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if I say Wu-Tang, you know, that I don't know if we can have that as one thing.
We can have that as one. That's fine.
All right. So we got who we got? We got Slick Rick, Tragedy Gaddafi.
Nas.
We got Nas. We got Wu-Tang.
4.
We got Guru.
Woo! Woo!
Right, so that's right there. So you got Slick Rick, you got Slick Rick, Tragedy, Nas, Wu-Tang, Guru.
Mm-hmm.
That's 5.
Okay.
Obviously, you got Kool G Rap.
Whew.
You got Rakim.
Yes.
You got Big L.
Okay.
J.Rue the Damager.
Yes.
You talking about who influenced me.
Mm-hmm.
And there's one more. Who influenced me? I don't know, man. I mean, it would be somebody obscure that people, you know, if we talking about specific projects, I can tell you.
Mm-hmm.
So we got who we got? We got Slick Rick. We got Tragedy Gaddafi.
Intelligent.
We got Nas. We got Wu-Tang. Who was right here?
Guru.
We got J.Rue the Damager. We got Big L.
Mm-hmm.
We got who else we got?
Rakim.
Oh yeah, definitely Rakim.
Coogee Rap.
Coogee Rap. And you know, if I said, you see, this is where I get torn, because if I say Big or if I say Jay-Z, I feel like I'm not being all the way 100.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I was fans of Big, but I was more of a fan of Nas.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's not taking nothing away from Big. I love Jay, but Jay, you know, just was, you know, he wasn't like the main thing for me. You know, J.Rue the Damager. J.Rue the Damager is one of my main influences, because it was between J.Rue, Guru, and Wu-Tang, man. Those are my main influences, because during that time when that first Wu album came, you know, that Come Clean came, you know what I mean, that Hard to Earns and those things, those are the real albums that really, really, really made me want to rap and made me try to copy what I was hearing, you know. There's, you know, all of that 90s stuff. But I think that answer it. J.Rue, Nas, Slick Rick, Rakim, Coogee Rap, Wu-Tang, you know what I mean? Tragedy Gaddafi was a big influence, you know, so it's not all of the same Rushmores that everybody have, you know what I mean? It's like my favorite changes here and there, you know. Some days I might feel like, you know, it's this guy over that guy and that thing, but I know that The Sun Rises in the East changed my life. I know that Enter the 36 Chambers changed my life. I know that Step in the Arena, Hard to Earn, Daily Operation, I know that those albums changed my life. I know that Capone and Noriega, The War Report changed my life. You know, I know that certain songs, you know, impacted me heavy, you know. Yeah, you know, and so influence is as influence does. Purple Tape changed my life, you know, and how I see things and what I thought was cool and everything like that. Yeah.
All right. Last question. When can we expect another AOTP or Demigods project?
I don't know, man. I'm just a humble servant. You know what I mean? I don't pilot that plane. I don't steer that ship. But when it's time to get aboard, I'm right there with my boarding pass. You know what I mean? So once they put the bat signal out, I'm there. But you know, anything can happen. You know what I mean? All of us are like, you know, busy pursuing solo things and living life. There's a few members that are really, really active with putting out new music and stuff. And I don't know. You know what I mean? I'm ready to go whenever the signal's out there.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
No problem, no problem. Any final words you want to tell subs on the channel, new people that's probably first time hearing from you and your fans? Anything you want to say or tell them?
Yo, man, just you know, be awake, man. You know, be awake. Look at the world, man. be conscious, you know, be aware of what's going on, man. You know, listen to the music, love the music, but be aware, man, of what's going on, man. Believe what you believe and stand by what you believe, man. You know, and I'm not here to preach. I hope nobody takes anything out of context. I don't want to come across as that guy. These are just some of the things that I feel and believe that was expressed here, man. I hope nobody don't look at me different. Peace.
Everybody, there you go. Thank you, Blacastan, for coming to the channel, giving this great interview, this great knowledge to us. Like I said, anytime you have any new music, not just through the groups, but just even you individually, please let me know. I will actually react to it on my channel to get your, you know, not just buzz, but just let people know that, hey, your support is always over here on Kofi's Universe.
Yes, sir.
You threw me alley-hoop, I throw the alley-hoop right back.
Yo, hit me for that thing. I'm going to find it for you.
For sure, for sure, for sure. King Kofi, y'all.
Peace.
Bro.